not now, or I don't really know.
Well, that's a, you know, that's interesting. But yet, this is affecting everybody though too. So it wouldn't be just you in your endeavor with the bread, but it could be anybody that can't get through to the state and anybody who can't get the equipment. But does that mean we should all give up on our dreams that that's what we wanted because of that? Whereas I believe that this is going to go away.
Yeah. I think that the one thing that that messes with my mind a little bit, or kind of a curiosity, is for people who live in abundance. I don't know that they have the ability to find a way. So I'm looking at myself saying, okay, what, should I shift a little bit in what I'm thinking about? Or because they don't say, I guess I can't do anything. That's not the way of abundant people.
Yeah.
And yet I've gone through all kinds of things, and we've gone through it with my husband. And it's like, they're just right now, we can't see a way forward, even expanding on a small scale, because without bigger equipment, it's not practical.
Is there, are there, like, for instance, is there bakeries that have been forced to close down that decide now, I don't want to go back into business, even if it opens up? So maybe there's, businesses that you can just call on the phone, and, if they don't answer.
Well, yeah. See, I don't, as far as ones that we know, our local area, our local area is booming.
Oh, okay.
So we don't have people that are shut down. And then with, say, sourdough baking, you do need a specific oven. You can't use standard bakery ovens.
Oh.
Because it doesn't bake the same.
Oh, goodness.
So it's like, it's really funny because, yeah, we've looked through the used stuff, through dealers, and they said, we don't have any, we can't get any. You just keep, yeah.
Oh.
Even getting something on order is a new one if I wanted to, which isn't really what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
But you might be waiting 6 months.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm thinking, what is this? What am I supposed to learn from this? Or what am I, supposed to take away? And I haven't really answered that question. Yeah. That's really really an interesting thing.
I jumped in here in the middle, so sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's all right.
But something comes up into my mind, and forgive me that I don't know where you started with this, Carrie, but the idea of, can you shift what you're on your end, something to match what you can do? Like, I get that you're talking about trying to expand and create a business out of your sourdough baking love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I get that sourdough maybe isn't possible because you can't get that oven, right? Yeah. But is there something else that you really love to do that you can, that's also bread making or whatever, that you can do with whatever you do have, that would then maybe give you a chance to get into that whenever the resources come or the opportunity presents? I know it's totally different from other bread baking. I'm just saying, like, yeah. And it's not a judgment. It's just a.
What are you meaning, like a different, say, I'm just making up, like, say, cookies or something, you mean?
Yeah, any kind of different.
Well, yeah. I think, well, mostly what it is I need a bigger mixer in order to make it worthwhile, because you can only, time, after a while, it's not cost effective to spend so much time.
Yeah.
For what you're making.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying, and I don't know that this is the answer for you, but sometimes if the thing that we think we want, just answering your abundance thing, you can't get the thing, like so maybe you can make that equation more flexible by adding new things in there, unless you really know you can't and don't want to do anything but that one thing. But sometimes that's a way, I think, that people keep moving forward. Well, this isn't exactly my dream, but this is, something that I can do for now until I figure out how to do the other piece or something. Yeah. It's just a thought, like making the equation on your end work out. Yeah. Like, we can't control the world, but.
Yeah. Well, right now I'm starting, I'm doing like holiday, it's like rye breads, sourdough rye breads. Sylvia probably knows about them in Europe. In Finland, they're called ruisleipä. I don't know what they call them in Switzerland, but it's a kind of a rye flatbread. But they're very popular around holiday times here in Finland, and in Europe they're always available. But here,
Lefse
No.
in Sweden? No.
it's similar. I mean, it's a traditional food like that, but they're just about, you know, not about that big, kind of a, you know, whatever, and then different
Really
shapes.
dense. Yeah.
But so I thought, well, I'll do that. But those are also, you know, time, a lot of time invested into them.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, those are just different challenges that come up. And then, but I did think that in the meantime, I mean, it has given me some time to learn this.
Mhm.
Because this is important for our family's health. And you know, I guess once we have this finished up and we can start working with you, Marlene, like that would also give me, I'll kind of say, multiple streams, maybe.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
until something opens up. And then just keep that out there that you intend for this bread maker, wherever it happens to be, your oven or whatever, it's going to come to you. It's going to find you. You're going to find this. It's going to come, right? Just keep
Yeah.
that out there. And wherever it happens to be, maybe somebody, you know, had a business a long time ago, you know, and their grandma or their mother or whoever, you know, somebody's got one.
yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
That they're not using and it's yours.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. I think the idea is that it's not over. Like just because it's not here now doesn't mean it's not coming or won't work out, right? So don't give up on that.
Kind of a pause or a rest, but not over. But again, that does give me space for this too, because I do want to learn this, and I do want to always do some energy work because I really enjoy it, you know. Or I don't know if you like. Well, how do you refer? You prefer quantum healing is how you prefer to have it stated, right, Marlene?
Say that again.
You would prefer to say quantum healing versus energy work. Is that correct? Is that how you?
Yeah. Healing. We're doing quantum activations.
Okay.
But they actually call them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
who knows? This might be more lucrative than your bread business, and so yeah.
What do you think, Marlene, about that possibility of it being lucrative?
Oh, absolutely.
You feel like it
oh my gosh. Oh,
okay.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I still don't understand how it works exactly, because I told you a while ago that in our area, you know, I can energy workers charge very little. So I would need to find a different source of people because you've got people here that are used to getting charged $40 for an hour. Well, you know.
But are they doing what you can do? See, that's the point. You know.
Well, yeah, I would say they're not, except that if people believe that they are, then you're still in the same boat. you know what I mean? If you can't really convince somebody that it's better or different, then they would not acknowledge that there would be room for a difference in cost or price.
Oh.
If that, I don't know, or what do you think?
Well, here's what I feel is that it only takes a few people. It doesn't take very many. Okay, so if you work on somebody and they see some amazing results, whatever it happens to be, they're gonna pay. They will pay you for that too. Like, oh my gosh, even if you just did, let's just say you did it for $40 a session or whatever for somebody, just say, you know, I'm going to, you know, give you my introductory rate for just to, you know, to start out. But this is just for an intro, just to let you know what's possible here. And then you do, you know, an adrenal gland and they're starting to get their energy back and they're feeling better and their hair's not falling out or whatever. And they're like, wow, that's not like what Judy did for me for $40. I really got a lot for my $40 over here. Or, you know, this is not anything that I've experienced before. And so once she tells her friend, then her friend's gonna, you know, want to check it out. And then it's going to be referrals on down the line, relatives and whoever, because that's how I find it goes. And then really you get one person that refers for you. That could be your whole clientele base?
Yeah, so far, I suppose I need to work on my clearing of my timelines and things because without using this method, but I did have someone that I did work for her husband, and she came back and she's like, oh my gosh, wow, that was so amazing. He's never been like this. But she didn't ask me for business again. She went back to the older energy worker who never had given her results. So I think there's something in my timelines or DNA or something that is probably causing that to go that way, because it doesn't make sense why someone would do that. Why would anybody say yes? But I want to continue to pay this other person instead of you.
Yeah, and let's say she had some allegiance to them.
Yeah,
somehow,
that's true.
Somehow that was their
Yep,
friend.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That can be how those kind of things.
Yeah, and then the friend maybe convinces them that, no, that was from what we did, or no, that can't happen, or oh yeah, maybe I'm not, maybe it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Which I do, yeah, and maybe it's one of those things that you'd have to just kind of go maybe to people that you aren't kind of directly connected with. So I was thinking when you were saying that, yeah, I guess I have had some that I worked on, and they'll come back later and say, oh, I did work with so-and-so and they fixed it. And I said, well, do you remember that I told you this would be gone already? Oh, no, they didn't remember that,
Oh,
So
shit.
there, maybe it is kind of like, you kind of have to, I don't know how to explain it, but
Maybe it's in the follow-up too. Maybe in the follow-up, so that you email them follow-up information, just restating what you stated, like, so that you can say, these are the improvements that you can expect to see, that many people find after they go through this. These are the improvements. So if they're, find any of them on there, hey, they can't say so-and-so did it if you've already showed them these are the things that will happen for other people that have done this same thing. And yeah, I think it's more in the proof, continuing to let them know, this is what you did, this is what you may be seeing. And so if you got these results, that's why.
Yeah.
So now if you do this, if you do the thyroid, these are the results you can expect to see from that, and kind of, base it on the next thing they should do with you. But yeah, kind of iterating multiple times that I get it, people don't realize what's happening to them from what, maybe they thought that was the vitamins they took.
Right. Right.
That are finally after 3 years.
And sometimes it is hard to know. And a person's really down and out, you're trying anything and everything you can think of, just trying to make it work. Then at the end, you maybe feel better and you say, well, I don't know what it was after all, but something did.
True. Right. True. And that is why you do need to tell them.
Yeah.
And that's why I do build that into my slides too. Improvements you can expect to see, after with a, optimized liver or whatever, so that they can base their improvements on that and more, so, and that's why I say, keep a journal from today on and write down any shifts you experience. And then maybe you can have a little follow-up session with them, and given the stuff that you told them that they could expect to see, well, without guaranteeing, you can't really do that either, but the common improvements most people see after this. And then keep a note, keep a journal, write down things that you find. Then they'll be more motivated to actually find the things, because I'm going to call you in about a month or whatever it is and follow up with you and find out how you're doing.
Yeah.
So that can certainly be a factor in them keeping you in mind too. And then letting them know that this is not energy healing. This is quantum. This is quantum work. This is actually working in the physical, in your cells. So there's a difference there. So yes, I do use energy to clear certain things around, blocks that you're having. Yeah, for sure. But we go way beyond that and into the actual cells itself. So that's when you're going to be doing, if you're doing the physical stuff like these organs and glands. That's why I like to kind of start with the physical, because they have more of a grasp on what's happening with them physically. They can figure that out. They might not know that they're less moody or less angry that might not come for a while. And to admit that I'm less angry, they might not want to admit that.
That's true. That's true.
So those things
Yeah.
are all great. And I think that you could certainly work with that, but they becomes more of a gray area. Unless it's so pronounced that one day they're angry, the next day they're great, but
Yeah.
I think physical, they have more of a
Yep.
perceived shift of changes. But but then too, so being from a smaller town too, or wherever, are you in a smaller town? Is it?
Yeah. I live outside of two very small towns.
Okay.
It's a very close community. So pretty much, you know.
Is there an affluent area of town, or is there, affluent families?
No. My family would probably consider more affluent than most.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's not really, we don't have neighborhoods.
Oh,
I mean, there's like towns, but there's not,
yeah.
we don't have neighborhoods, and we don't have,
Mhm.
everyone knows there's a few families that make better money, better business or whatever. So
Mhm.
that can be some of the challenges too. People have, in a very tiny town or with old patterns, they have a hard time wanting to do business sometimes with people that they feel have too much. It's a perception because it's not necessarily real, but those can be challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, but at the same time, I think that all goes out the window.
I
when you
agree.
start feeling better, or if you're in pain and now you're not.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care what she's doing it, and I don't care
Yeah.
anything otherwise. So
Yeah.
that's why if you can plug the leak in their problem,
Yeah.
they'll stay around and they'll find the money because they're finding the money for other things.
Yeah. Yep.
70-inch TV set in their living room, that was more important than their kidney or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
until the kidney starts giving you a problem, now that's main and center. Now we got to
Right.
fix this, right? So, so maybe it would be just locating the people that may have certain issues and certain problems, and so we're going to talk tomorrow about business.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think we can talk more about it tomorrow, but it's great to get the conversation going.
Yeah, because it gives time for me to let things roll. Like even from last week's lesson, I did give myself a rest. I didn't do anything for maybe 2.5 days or 2 days or something, or 3 years. I can't remember exactly. But then it started to work by itself in the back of my mind. So when I came back, I'm like, okay, I think I have it a little bit sorted out. So yeah, it's kind of nice to let things kind of percolate back there.
Yeah. And then the beauty of this business is you don't have to do it locally. I think I have one client anywhere near me, through my regular business.
Okay.
I haven't talked to my neighbor. I don't know half the people. I'm in a big city, but
yeah,
I don't go out soliciting business in this town. I just don't.
Right.
I don't have the time.
Yeah.
But you can. So, but yeah, the beauty is you can work from, any clients anywhere.
Yeah.
And then once you get, we can get some referrals to you guys too, then you just can start with that person. Maybe they're from Kentucky or who knows where, and they know people, they've got relatives that are more open-minded. Maybe there's other areas on the different coasts, East Coast or West Coast, that might have a more open mind around alternative stuff. And that's the only thing that they do.
Yeah.
Because I do. Most of my clients, that's the only thing. They don't trust doctors. They don't go to, a lot of them, like some things you're thinking, geez, you probably should go to a doctor for that. Nope, I'm not going.
Yeah.
So you've got people who are looking specifically for you, or just people who can do things. And I've got somebody who said that her liver was bad and she knew it. And this was a year ago that I remember working with her. And she said that she just last week she sent an email and she went to the doctor and had her enzyme levels checked or something like that. And her doctor was really happy about her improvement. And she said, "You're the only person I've worked with on this. And I just want you to know how pleased I am and happy that, you know, the results I've have gotten from you. And I just wanted you to know what my results were." So,
That's really nice. Yeah.
you know, once they know that that's possible, you know, the people that she's going to tell, you
Yeah,
know,
she will tell a lot of people. Yeah.
and give you referral work. Yeah. So that's a lot of my sessions now. That's all regular customers, you know, my regulars, and then their referrals to me. That's all I need. I don't need any more one-on-ones myself, you know, to keep me busy, but I've got people coming and coming, so I need other people to help
Yeah.
out. So that's what
Are the other people going to be disappointed if they don't get you and they get one of us?
Well, and that's the thing is, I suppose if it was referred by a certain person to me, then yes, that's who they're expecting. But I can build in packages, you know, like if you buy this, you're going to get a session, you know, with an expert, you know, YBP expert. And what I've done with that is they get a 30-minute session. But if somebody says, "Oh no, I really wanted Marlene," okay, well, you only get 15 minutes with that package with Marlene. Or,
Okay.
you know, and I've had 3 people in 15 minutes. I'm like, where'd they come from? That's what they were. And but the other person who was getting the 30-minute ones, she said she got a ton of them. So I don't know, you know, how many she got really, but 3 of them out of all of them wanted me, I guess. So yeah, I mean, we can make concessions, but you just get less time or whatever, you know.
Well, my thing is that you don't want to have anybody be disappointed, right? Feeling like they're getting a lesser experienced healer, you know? So,
Yeah.
But that's just something, maybe a block I have, you know, so, or to do the work. But I relate to Carrie's questions in the sense that and I can't, are there some clearings that we can do around things that are blocking us from feeling like we can create a steady, you know, increasing stream of clients to whatever our capacity or desired level is, and feel good about it? I tend to learn things and I practice on people, and then I never get out of the thing where I'm giving it away for free. And I know that that's like it's just been a total non-starter for me in my life, you know, not with this. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like
not do that here.
I certainly was like that before. I had this lack and limitation. So clearing lack, clearing limitation, just write those 2 words down and just clear them, lack and limitation, until you get to 100% clear. Those right there. And then I think I told you, Carrie, about guilt and shame. Were those the two things that block people from prosperity, is guilt and shame? So write those down as well to clear. And then we're going to do some wealth clearings tomorrow too. Okay. So that's built into the training too. So we're going to look at that. But yeah, clearings around attracting a stream of clients would be good too. If it's not stated that way, we can state it however would be best suited to what you're looking for.
I mean, I have confidence in myself in general, as a healer and a person of wisdom and stuff, but it's so interesting that when I go to try to think about it, you know, all my friends want me to do stuff with them, right? So it's like, okay, I need to not be a professional friend, you know. I mean, yeah, a lot of them are healers as well, so we can trade, but you know, you need to kind of get out of that and create real clients, right? So that seems to be, there's something blocking me.
Well, you know, it's easier to do it then. It is. Yeah. I can see myself back then. It's so easy to just get caught up in I'll just perfect this a little more. I'll just do a little more on that. And then I'll just do, I'll do so-and-so just for practice. And then I guess I can do it on them too, and their friend too. You know, just, it's so much just to keep me not doing it, right? Like, I'm my worst enemy here, because
I've done that also, but then I've run into the challenge that I did it with my bread, and I did it with some energy work where I let it be known that I'm charging, you know, put myself out there. Okay, I do charge for this. those people don't want the service or the goods when
Mhm.
it comes at a cost.
That's,
So then,
yeah.
but which I have gotten where I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
one person kind of close to me kind of teased me because sometimes I would still, it's actually a sister, but so it's kind of sister dynamics too. But I brought her some bread that I was like, well, it wasn't nice enough looking for me to sell it. I didn't want to sell it. She's like, all you bring me is your junk. You know, why aren't you going to bring me the good stuff ever? And I said, well, because I sell my good stuff. So if
Yeah.
you want, you can buy it, but I'm not going to give it all away because it is a lot of work. Like I enjoy it. It's a true talent or an art, but it's a lot. It's a huge commitment to make a lot. And so I'm like, well, no, I'm not going to, but I have never had her ask for it or to purchase, but other people are the same. Like they
But
will
that's
be like, they'll
them.
rave about it when they come to my house. Like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing I've ever had in my life. Never once will you get them to say, can I buy some?
That's them though. That's
Yeah.
where their
Yeah.
background is. And they think that, oh, women, you know, oh, they have nothing to do. They can
Yeah.
just bake bread and bring and
Yes.
just, you know, give it to everybody. Like,
Yeah.
really?
They don't know that I might be up at 1 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then baking for, you know, it'll be a big process, you know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter to them. But I agree, it is on them. So it's me energetically connecting with the people that do have the same thing. That's the trick or the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Allowing the people who will be able to pay your fee,
Yeah.
allowing
Yeah.
them to come to you. And
Yeah.
you don't have to know who they are. I have the same sister thing, you know, that sort of like they want what you have, but they don't want to value it, right? So
Yeah.
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 But it will expand to other people too. So I think it's so true that if you know, even you can't set your price at $40 an hour either. Like that's, if you looked at somebody, I might automatically think like, maybe I won't go to that person because they're only $40 an hour, right? Like,
Yeah.
so, you know, you have to figure out what resonates and attracts that client who can pay and wants to pay and that you feel good about. And
yeah,
the
looking for a
whole
different
dynamic.
pool of people altogether or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I had the one lady who said, because I said, well, I would not ever go into business and charge $40 an hour. And she said, well, who's kidding who? She said, you're not that good. And I said, well, I'm not yet, but if someday comes where I do choose to charge for my services, I will only do it for a higher cost because that's only worth it to me. It's not worth it to me because it's not $40 an hour because the lady usually ends up spending an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of time if
Yeah.
you feel like you can have a lot of benefit in someone's life. So it's not worth it to me.
Yeah.
But
And
It's not. Yeah. I will get resentful if I do stuff like that. You
That's
know?
right.
I wouldn't do it. It's worth it. It's more worth it for me to spend time with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's the way I think too, is that, well, look, at the end of the hour, I got another session coming up. Bing, bing, I gotta go. You know, I mean, there's
Yeah.
more, right? And, you know, so they would be taking somebody else's time. And some people don't care. They hear the bing, bing, soon someone's coming on Zoom, it's their time, I tell them, and they're like, well, what about this? Can you check on that? And it's like, no. Maybe if you want to make another session, I'll send you the link, but I gotta go. Okay. Nice talking to you. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I've had people like that. They just take. That's who they are. They're takers, they're not givers. So then you can muscle test just to see, hey, is this person an ideal client for me? No, this person is not my ideal client. So a activation to attract your ideal client, the ones who are willing to pay, the ones that have the frequency of vibration enough to get it. Like, so maybe you're working with people who are 200 or below too, right? Because they don't get it and they never probably will.
Yeah.
And to them, energy healing at $40, oh, that's hocus pocus, you know.
Yeah.
You know, for
right.
that.
It's like entertainment. Yeah. Or
Yes,
something.
exactly. So for $40, somebody could pay $40 and get a little fun and entertainment, you know. But really a result, they're doubtful on getting, you know, probably a result, anything noticeable. especially at regenerating an organ. There's certainly, and that's the thing too, is that how much is that organ worth? $40? That's all it's worth to you?
Right.
Well, gee, how much is it worth to get a good night's sleep? How much is it worth to have energy? How much is it worth to keep your hair? How much, what is that all value? And so looking at it from that point, what's the value to the client? And it has to be more than, I mean, even $400 is a bargain, you know, it's a bargain to feel better physically.
It is a bargain because you
can't
can
get
spend
that.
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds a month
Yeah.
on alternative medicine. And yeah, so 400's a bargain. It's cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. So looking at it from that perspective, it's well, the value that I provide is incredible. These are the people, and then you can give them the testimonials or reviews of people that I've worked with, because those are real. Those are real people who say the real thing about this process, the same process that you're learning to do. So if it worked for me, and that same process can work for them too. So you can mention that these people have, you know, they felt it was worth a ton more than $40.
Right.
How much do you figure it's worth to feel, you know, maybe you could ask them that, well, what is it worth to you to get your health back, or to get, you know, your hair back, or, you know, like this lady did, or whoever, you could use an example, you know?
Yeah.
I think that points out the issue is that people, even if they were open to spending, you know, like I think making the model of the energy work isn't a good, you know, it's not a good comparison, right? Because it's different. And then even if they think, okay, I'm open to that, but I don't, how do you just plunk down $400 when I don't know anything about this, right? So that, I think that's probably also what holds me back with thinking, expecting other people to have that doubt. Like, okay, you can tell me testimonials, but I still don't know for sure, you know? And of course we know, you never know for sure until you try it, right? But so I think the uncertainty and then the cost is sort of, you know, something that we, you know, Carrie may not agree with me, but I'm not saying I feel this way. I'm the opposite. I'm willing. I know I've been around the block, and so I trust myself when I'm interested to jump in with something that it's for me. And yeah, but I guess you get people. You have to attract the people who aren't going to be programmed that way, right? To be full of doubts and needing to be proven, and
Right.
And maybe they start out with something intro, you know, that they try it for as an intro, so it's not as big of a money outlay, but maybe it's $100 or something like that, you know, or 97, so they don't feel it's quite that over the top, but it's something, you know, enough that they take their time. But and for you, for that 100, you know, you could do you know, a vitality clearing and so forth, and you could look at maybe going into a past life, and then they're like, oh wow, this person's spot on, look what they found. And then the energy around that clears it, right? So I mean, just like you know, they pay to go to a psychic, for example, $2 a minute. Well, that's 120 an hour. You know, and so, but they get the information from the psychic, but what does the psychic do? Nothing. There's nothing the psychic does after that. They just give them the information. But whereas you get the information and you can transform it for them. So, so looking at it that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
You know,
that still seems like a lot, even for $97 or whatever. Yeah, $100. Yeah.
Just for me to acknowledge that, people that know me, they may not be my clientele at all. They may not be. I have had a couple people say, yeah, I don't think I would be interested, because I wouldn't want someone that knows me, you know, like me or whatever. They said, I don't want you in my personal life. That's too uncomfortable for them, you know, to delving into their feelings or experiences that they've had or whatever. They said it's too uncomfortable. It feels too personal. They want someone that doesn't know them. But that's okay, because I mean, it can still provide clarity for me as to who my ideal clients are. They may not be those kind of people.
And you shouldn't be wasting your time with people who aren't really. I mean, it's okay to get some experience and figure out how things are and how people are. But overall, it can be considered a waste of time, essentially, because they're not ready, right? I mean,
Right.
like my family, my aunt kind of knows what I do, but not really. But that she would, no, she doesn't even call me. My uncle had a stroke, went into the
Right.
hospital. Do you think she texted me? No,
Right. Right. Yeah. She's not looking for your healing services.
she's not. But not only that, but I could just sense just some healing energy while he's in there, anything, right? Or,
Right. Right.
but she doesn't even consider it as a,
No,
a
thing.
yeah, because it's not in her perception, right? It's not there. They were told what the doctor told them, and it is called medical control energy. They are totally under the impression of medical control. Authority figures tell them this is the way it is. They believe it, and that's something you can clear. You can clear medical control energy for people who are having doubts and so forth. Oh, is that medical? Yes, it is. You put on the white coat and the stethoscope, all of a sudden, oh, I will listen to them. I don't hear a word you say. I will hear what they, what you say just goes over the top of their head, and their eyes glaze over. They don't hear you. So, but the beauty of it is that more and more people, though, are becoming more aware and conscious now. It's come out of the closet. It's not so big of a hidden thing where, conspiracies or whatever you want to call it, right?
Right.
They've made it a point to demonize people that do natural things.
Oh yeah, there are still people in my community that feel that this is witchcraft or Satanism.
Yeah.
Work. So there's those out there, but
whereas it is Satanism that put that thought into their heads.
Completely.
It's exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
So really, and the unfortunate thing is that there's going to be people who are going to fall through the cracks. You're not going to be able to help them. Really, nobody probably is going to be able to help some of these people. And
that's completely true.
That's the deal.
Yeah.
What can I do with my aunt and uncle? I don't know. It's nothing. I mean, I could send them energy, but I don't, should I? I don't know. I mean, I've got clients that are paying me. I've got other things. I could be clearing my son. I could be clearing myself. I could be doing other things, I don't have to be sending free energy to anybody who doesn't want it, I guess,
True.
So
true. That is kind of so what do you do with people? Okay, you were talking how the other night or whatever, your cousin or whatever was coming in talking to you. So I had an experience like that. It's a person I haven't seen in 20 years. I don't actually know where they live anymore, and I don't really know their last name anymore. But for several weeks, they were just so upset. They really wanted my attention, and I did send them some healing, peaceful energy. They wanted me to see something, but they couldn't show me. They kept pointing like, okay, it's over there, which I couldn't see it. But I almost feel like maybe they've passed on at this point physically. But would you send someone like that healing energy in that setting? Like if that was someone coming in, they were just really disturbed and anxious and upset and beside themselves and calling you, in yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that they are trapped and they want to move on. They missed the opportunity somehow to move into the next dimension. So they at this point, like I know her, and I know she knows how I can communicate to her. And so I need to get out of here. Help,
that's how it felt. They were very distraught.
Then,
so but you would kind of connect with them if they're pestering you kind of like you can't.
And then you can just ask questions. Ask a question. Are you deceased, or do you need to pass on? Do you need, I don't know, some people don't realize what their problem is, but do you need to pass on? Are you trapped? Is this and then you can call on the assistance of Jesus or their higher self. And get the team together and just say, hey, assist this person. You know what you're doing. So yes, I do. If they're gonna come to you, because chances are maybe they'll come again and again until you
Well, that's what was happening. I wasn't getting even sleep at night. It's like every time I'd even turn over in bed, it's like this person is just frantic in my space, you know, it's like, well,
Yeah.
I did send it, but there's the different schools of thought where some people are like, one person told me, you can never ask somebody if they like healing. You can never ask somebody if you can help them. You can only let somebody come to you and ask for you to heal them. So there's different, you know, say Reiki has its own thing, and, you know, there's different teachings. And I'm like, well, I know, as far as I'm concerned, as long as it's love, you're not, you can only, love is all good. There's no anything wrong. But anyway, I'm just curious on your thoughts on that.
Right. You do need permission to start altering things for them.
True.
You know, DNA, you're not supposed to go in and alter DNA without the person knowing what you're doing. And
Yeah.
you know, so for that, I would never do that. That's going way over and above. And I won't redo people's organs unless they ask. Although I did do one person, but I had permission from somebody else. Yes, please do it. They were so sick or whatever.
Yeah.
And it worked. And they don't know I did it, and I don't care. It's okay. I know my own satisfaction that this guy is out of hospice, back to work. He was planning his funeral. He was sending everyone emails, planning his funeral, and saying he was on his last leg, you know, liver and pancreas shot, right? And so they had nothing more for him. He was on hospice. All the money in the world. This guy has a lot of money. That's all they had to offer him.
Yeah.
Hospice, plan your funeral. And so Chuck, he said, Marlene, do whatever you can do. And I said, fine, Chuck, I'll just work on his pancreas and his liver. That's what I'll do. And so I did. And next thing you hear, he's out of hospice. He's out of therapy. He's back at home and he's working.
So did they acknowledge that to you, that you did the work?
He doesn't know I did it.
The one that asked you to do it.
Chuck does. Yeah. Chuck's like, I can't believe what happened, Marlene. This is incredible. But he's had thousands of people praying for him also.
Yeah.
So they believe that it's the power of prayer. And that's great. If he gets that, then fine. I'm fine. I don't need the glory from this.
Right.
I just wanted to see him be okay again. And because he helps so many people. He's just he's a marketing whiz. He's been around forever, and he's just brilliant and funny, and, you know, helps so many people. So to me, it's that I still want him for my mentor, you know?
Yeah.
You know? And that's what I got out of it, you know, is that. And that was what I did. Now, was it right? I don't know. You tell me. The guy seems to feel
he seems to think it's pretty great life.
It's like maybe all the prayers, like, you know, brought this other person to ask you to to do what you could do. I have a feeling if it wasn't right, you wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Because I know that's a classic healer thing, but I do feel like just with general, maybe that's a unique situation where you're actually doing some very particular work on the body and stuff like that. But other things, like when people deceased or otherwise are in distress and they come into your zone, whatever that's, so physical or energetic, I feel like if there's ever a doubt, I just like turn it over to source, like, and just, you know, just ask them to have what they need, right? So in love and, you know, compassion.
Yeah. And I did ask, I asked his higher self, I said, well, if he could comprehend what I'm doing, and would he say, yes, go ahead? And I got a yes. So I figured, all right, that's, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise we could go out and try and, you know, adjust everybody. So that we can't do. But when it comes to like that, you have to feel like there's some, you know, some pathway that it arrived on your doorstep, right? So,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I wasn't making it up. I mean, I'm driving along, the guy keeps popping in my head. I'm like, I haven't even thought about this guy in years. I have no idea where he is or nothing about him anymore. You know, so it's not like I'm sitting there thinking, who can I dream up today? Like I don't have anything to think about, right?
Right. No, it's real. It's real.
Yeah. So so the thing is, if you don't know what needs to be done, like you know, it's sort of taking the you out of it, right? So whatever you can do to just say, I'm here, you know, they know that you're a conduit for that light. So, you know, they need that. So you just support that.
That's interesting. That's exactly what I got out of it, was that he felt that I was the conduit for the light.
Yeah.
exactly what I was getting. So yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's
it's like
pretty,
what Marlene's saying, when people come to you, right, they know that you're open for business, like you're perceptive, and you'll
Yeah.
be able to get a message to you, even if they can't communicate the actual details. But
yeah,
I feel like he got whatever he needed in that situation, right?
yeah. Well, thanks for having this conversation.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, they are not comfortable with it. They think you're making it up, or they get a little bit of jealousy that interferes with being able to discuss it comfortably.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're sort of either caught in the phenomenon of it, or, it's like, oh, that's interesting, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
And you know what else I do too, without asking, like if you, well, this is a bigger city, so they have people on street corners with signs, different places, and nobody says we'll work for food anymore.
no, they don't.
Handouts or whatever. But you know what I do? I clear their attachments. So
Yeah.
just clear their mind.
Yeah.
Give them a
That's
different
nice.
perspective for a few minutes, going, "Whoa, I feel better. I feel different."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just make them feel better. That's what I do. That's my gift. I $2 ain't gonna make a bit of difference if he still has a demon
no,
attached to him.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
I guess
right.
I have done that. We have a tragedy that happened right one my neighbor, where he's a 17-year-old and he accidentally killed by shooting his friend.
Oh,
So unfortunately, some evil energy is at work, and they want him in prison for the rest of his life because they are trying to say he did it on purpose, that he murdered him on purpose. Well, of course, everybody knows he didn't, except now the prosecutors have lied to the family, and there's a really evil, dark energy that is putting out, even in the media, they're putting it out. And now the family is suing the family of this boy. It's ripping the community apart. But yeah, that's what I'm like. Well, I guess I can't stay bogged down in sorrow, but I do want to. I just try to send peace, peace to their family, peace to their home. When I see him, if his face looks like it's light and happy, then I feel rewarded. And if it's down, I just try to, and his family. But yeah, it's like those kinds of things. I'm like, well, if you're giving love or peace, I can't see that that's bad.
No.
right.
No.
Just like even the whole world, we should just all be sending
Well, yeah,
peace
yeah.
out there.
yeah,
We don't know that, who knows in the end what the right thing is in the order of events, but
Yeah, and like the president, he has like people praying over him. I don't know if you've
Yes.
seen that, but
No,
I've seen a picture of all kinds of people. They stand around him and they're praying over him.
oh, I didn't know that.
Just groups. He doesn't. It's not like he asked for it, but these people have all come together, and there's I've seen it before, and they're all praying over him.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Yeah, I hadn't heard that, or I hadn't seen that. I just assumed that people probably would be, but I didn't know.
yeah, and it feels like he has some sort of protection around him. He'd have to be, I guess, for all the stuff.
Otherwise, you'd be crushed to the earth by now.
Scary. Yeah, he's scary. But yeah, so it definitely the power of prayer. This is part of what that is, right? And so so really, what did Jesus do? Yeah, prayer. But what was he doing? Healing people, but through what? Maybe prayer, or using what we know. Of course, he wasn't sitting there going, "Oh, I'm sending gold energy." Probably wasn't doing that, but he was so he just knew that he had that spark of God in him. He just knew it, that he had no doubts. None, right? So the faith, I guess that's another word for faith. He just had 100% faith. There was no doubts. So what do you get when you have no doubts? You're going to get exactly what you're putting out there. And that's really how it works. It's really that simple.
True. Yeah.
Might not be easy, but that's the simple.
But it's simple. Yeah.
Well, in another way, it's like the ultimate enlightenment. Like when there's no sort of confusion in the mind about what's real and what's not real, like anything is possible. It's so much in that perception, right, that you talk about. The energy is there. It makes me think of also my, the people in Ecuador that I've spent a lot of time I've talked to Marlene at least about them, but they're shamans, but they always, talk about, of course, and they're, indigenous people from the mountains, but they're also Catholic, and, so it's all mixed in together. They're not like anti one way or anything, but, and the people in the church aren't like thinking they're bad people at all. Like, it's just part of the culture there, the indigenous culture anyway, that people go to them for healing. But they'll always talk about Jesus was a great shaman, right? So that's what So, when the frequency is so high, right, then all kinds of things start transforming around, right? So,
and it's like you are choosing to let go of the darkness because you're not in those dark areas anymore. I'm not jealous. I'm not angry. I'm not fearful, right? Those are all dark things. Those are dark areas, and the darkness feeds off of that. So if you're in there, you're still choosing then to participate with the dark.
And even fear.
Yes, whether you realize it or not.
Yeah. I told my sister, who she gets really emotionally sad easily. So when she was hearing about this young boy, she was crying. And I said, you have to let go of fear, because fear only feeds these evil energies that are trying to take that family down. I said, you can't allow that. You have to put your fear aside and bring in light, because that's the only way you can help. Because this type of heavy sadness or fear doesn't help them. It just keeps filling this whole space with more ickiness.
Yeah, sorrow as well. That's a low vibration emotion. It brings you down. There's no reason to stay in there. I learned all these things. It was 30 years ago. I was married to Mike when he died. People, it's funny because the same pastor that we just had marry us a week before, I had to call him up, and he was the guy that did the funeral. So, but he told me, because I was talking to him a little bit there, and actually he saw some things, some transactions around the family, and how they were acting, and then noticed how I was acting. And he came to me and he said, Marlene, in the point of conversation, he said, they seem that they're people with little faith. They seem like they have little faith, the way that they were carrying on, wailing and whining and just like, and thinking bad of me because I wasn't going off the deep end. I wasn't. I was actually more concerned about other people, and I was, I was hugging other people and just making sure that they were all right. And he said, you are like the opposite of these people, where you have the faith, and whereas they don't have the faith, right? So even though I'm not a religious person, yes, we went to church when growing up and stuff, I don't consider myself religious, because I don't believe in the actual structure and the, the control thing around it. But looking at it that way, the knowing, it's that knowingness there, like that Jesus had, he had that knowingness. He had no doubt, right? So here I am thinking, well, I have no doubt Mike is fine. I'm getting, he's great. I'm the one who is here messing with all your relatives, for giving me a hard time now. So it is that knowing. It's the absolute. And that word absolute, I just found that word not too long ago, and I'm like, I love that word. It's absolute. There's no doubt, and when you have that, that's the same as having, like religious people would say, faith, right? So that's what we're doing here. And we just know without a doubt that the human body, can be transformed back into the beauty that it's intended that it was, before all this stuff and darkness came in. So it's bringing in the light to let go of the dark. And so it's the same, light against dark. It's the same thing, it's all it is. So it's just assisting that person, their body, to recognize their wholeness again. And the body just is so willing to let go of once you start working in there. It's good. It just wants to get out of there. It's just like, it's thankful that it has the opportunity now to let go of the stuff that doesn't belong, and get back to health. So it's an easy process for the body once it's given the nudge or the assistance to get it going, I think. So, and so just keeping your heart in that space where the people that require my assistance are going to find me, and I'm going to be out there enough so that they can, and I'm not going to judge people where they're at, you know, they're still kind of they might not ever get it, right? So those might not even be your clients ever. And so your clients are going to be the ones who come to you and or find you, or maybe you get a referral, maybe now you've got other referrals coming. Those are the clients that are for you, that you are here to help. And you'll have enough, it'll start snowballing. That's how it happens. It just starts snowballing bigger and bigger and bigger. So that finally you're not going to be able to help everybody, you know, I mean, then your rates are going to go up and all that stuff too, right? So then people are going to be sifted out who, okay, $100, that's all they had, but still at the same time, I'm still not, I am not, I don't know if the word's greedy, but I'm not discounting people who don't have money too. I've given, you know, somebody who comes in from the show, they might have just spent $97 or $197, and they're getting an adrenal and a thyroid and a whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. They might not have a whole lot of money, but I'm still spending the amount of time on them as anybody who did. And so I feel that I'm giving of my time to and value to the people who may or may not. And so they may not be able to afford upgrading to, you know, when I get them on a session, I'll say, look, you should really have your liver or whatever. They might not be able to afford that, but in the back of their head, they'll remember you. And when they get some money, they will contact, and they do. I've had somebody who came into money and they had no idea that was coming to them or whatever. And now they're like, oh, Marlene, can you do the whatever brain or whatever it is, costed more. And she said she wanted me to do it. You know, it just happens this way. So we can't let our own perceptions of, oh, they don't have any money, or they, you know, or whatever. We can't allow that to judge who we work with and who we don't. It's those will come. They will come who are for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was hard for me to wrap my head around that too, to begin with, because I didn't know, like, really. Okay, well, I'm paying my bills today, not whenever they're choosing to come. When are they coming?
Yeah.
But I stuck with it, and you know, yes, I had to take some lower cost, you know, lower paying clients to get there. But you just continue and to know that what you're doing is making a difference, and people are recognizing it, and then now they're going to. Things are happening in the background that we have no clue that anything's going on whatsoever, but things are putting themselves together for you to prosper, for you to get the right people, just knowing that that's what's happening, you know. And that's what all I'm going to preach about today. That's my preaching.
Well, no, I appreciate it. It's good to.
It's great that you're offering it as an opportunity to.
Yeah.
You know, one of the hard things is just starting cold without clients. So if, you know, if you can be linked up with your brand and then start that way, it's a great way. Because, I mean, some of us may not want to do the shows or something, and I'm sure that that's a great source of things. But
and you know what?
Awesome.
Also having a web page out there, even if you can't do a website, just having a page, you know, and that's something I can maybe even assist you with too somewhere, because I have my web guy, to put up a WordPress, just to put up a WordPress site, right? And it doesn't have to be more than a couple pages, right? Even one or whatever, but more pages, the more opportunities you have for people to find you, because you can add different meta tags, search phrases to each page, so that when people looking for, you know, a service or whatever, you can pop up. So if you put down locally, you might be surprised that there are people locally who are kind of looking for, you know, adrenal fatigue or whatever it happens to be. And then in whatever the name of your town is, right? So I'm just going to use Grand Forks because I have no clue. But if you put in adrenal fatigue, Grand Forks, Minnesota. Well, people are in the Grand Forks, Minnesota, who are putting in adrenal fatigue, boom, your page can come up. And, you know, you just get a call out of the blue from somebody who just found you online. And especially the smaller the town you are, the more opportunity you're going to be the thing that comes up, because how many other people are treating adrenal fatigue in Grand Rapids, right? Or it's the number is smaller than it is here in Phoenix, I'm sure. But
Right, right.
so, yeah, so that could be just out of the blue, people just find you, right? Because in your website, and this is another thing, is you can do spiritual marketing where you put your intention in the website of who's going to find it, who needs to be the person that looks and finds you through there. And then you have a higher vibration on it, so it feels good. And, you know, oh, wow, I'm going to call her, you know, right? Yeah. So it happens that way. And that's one way you can get the business rolling for just with strangers. You don't, you know, marketing. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of different things, and we'll go into more tomorrow around business too. But let's just get hormones rolling here. We've got where are they? It's glands. These are glands. Where's my hormones? Okay, here we go. Oh, they're exactly the same, huh? I've got two hormones, chemistry, hormones dash text. Okay, looks like we're the same. All right, so I've got a real long clearing around hormones here. And I don't know which one's older or which ones, they look the same. I have two docs pulled up and they both look the same. Okay, so one is, all right, so we'll just go with this one. And I'll share the screen on it too. So hormone balancing and clearing areas affecting low function. So the clearings and prep work then, again, all this just general stuff that we do, but looking at hormones, they're chemical messengers of the body responsible for the functions, all this different stuff, you know, and more obviously. You can call it human chemistry if you want, you can call it that. Yeah, and so really the chemistry of the body, let me just read this. Chemistry, hormones themselves, and human chemistry, in the way that we've produced chemistry, is considered sister to the spirit, meaning that its actions through the body are very much like the actions of spirit in the body. So the hormones act like the chemical messengers to the body that spirit actually acts the same way. So, so that's kind of interesting. They regulate the body physiology based on the signals from the brain. So that hypothalamus, right? Well, then you got the pituitary, you know, sending messages, but the hypothalamus sending messages. And then they transfer the signal directly onto the respective gland for the changes to happen. So they're like the messengers carrying a message from the brain to the other glands and to organs and so forth too. So whatever specific things. So, and then they get carried through the blood. Their glands are of different types, which synthesize and secrete the concerned hormone, but they do not release them into the blood. Instead, the blood flows through these glands and carries them away. So they are termed as endocrine glands. I guess that's the name of them. So the clearing then is, do I have it on here? No. No, I don't. Let me share the screen on the clearing itself. And then I'll send this to you. So this is the right permission and ability to enjoy fully optimized, balanced, stable, functioning chemistry and hormones, free of all the other stuff. Now I added timelines on there, but programs in your DNA. So you want to do all the DNA stuff. And then all of these can be involved with, really, it's a lot of emotions, right? Resentment all the way down to shame. A lot of emotions here. Now looking at it, you've got bloodlines, so mother's genealogy, soul contracts, stuff. This is what, deals we made with the dark side throughout last 100 lifetimes. So that they could have control over some part of your life or your health, right? So the dark side has put in its own little whatever to add compromise to your glands here. That's what that means. And then curses, of course, they call having your period or whatever the curse. There's reason to believe there's curses put on women for all this stuff that we were talking about before, right? So, and then traumas that have happened whenever. Control energy. Yeah, a lot of darkness is controlling us. Contracts and agreements that maybe we made, that was more dark stuff too, right? So all of this kind of seems dark to me. And then your emotional timeline and your energetic timeline. Go on there. And then all of these emotions, there's just a lot of stuff: lonely, stressed, sorrow, down. Boy, a lot of crushed, nothing upbeat here at all, is there? Yeah, so clearing all that. And then, well, these are anchors. I guess we've got anchors outside of the actual attachment type stuff. So, but these aren't necessarily attachments, but they can be, but it's dark energies that are connected with compromise of your glands. So if it's there, great, clear it. If it's not, then you don't have to. But it's a pretty big list here, just to do the having balanced chemistry. And I'll send this to you guys afterwards here. So although you're not.
Can I ask a question just about the timelines? So you had energetic and emotional timelines in the list, but in the beginning you just had timelines in general. So, because I think I did this maybe more than I needed to before. Do we clear timelines in general for the whole question and then go into those particular ones that you've highlighted?
Yeah, and it seems like I just added this to all my charts.
Okay.
Because I think I forgot to put it on there, but I think that's why it doesn't mean that it has to be first. No, it doesn't. Okay. But I found that once I started doing some work that it needed to be in there. So is there past life stuff for you where you've had issues with your glands, before?
I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah, great. So maybe there was some kind of panic or something that just, your adrenaline and cortisol, maybe you were running from a tiger or something at one time, Yeah. You'll find that out, I guess. So yeah, I would do it that way. So yeah, why it's up here, I don't know.
Well, there you just have timelines, which implies like a general timelines, but then I guess I'm a little bit confused about, do we look at all the timelines? Because in the list, it had just 2 of the 5 different categories of timelines, right? You have, where is it?
Yeah, so apparently the family and the mental didn't make it on here.
Okay. Or the physical.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm putting as this as being the physical.
Oh, I see. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah, and I think that's what I meant by timelines.
Okay.
So then you can check to see what lifetimes,
I gotcha.
Yeah, past lives.
So for emotional timeline and energetic past timeline, you don't look at past lives where those were impacted?
You certainly can. but you can just clear them and ask, do I need to know a lot, more about this to clear it? No. Is there something that I'll gain by diving deeper into knowing about? No. Okay, then just clear it. But yet, yes, you should know something about this to help, resolve it. Okay, fine. Then go into it deeper.
Okay.
But I
But you
find,
definitely do look at the physical at a deeper level,
I
but the
do,
others only.
you could ask, do I need to know something about that physical life? And if you get no, then you don't have to, especially if the client is not on the session with you. But it helps that other person then to participate, to know what happened to them, and so that they can come to some kind of resolution in their own mind about it.
Yeah, I get that now.
And
Yeah.
feel that, oh, it was just releasing out of the body, like that gal yesterday when I said she had found that 14-year-old had that criminal thing, so he couldn't come out of hiding. So here she's being an actress and she's like, what's the matter? So when she found that out, I was like, oh, now she can know when she's on stage. Whereas if I just did it myself and she didn't know, well, she could still be on stage. Maybe she's not feeling so, hiding anymore, but maybe her mind is not in sync now. Maybe her mind just still is in the I am still whatever, but her body and her emotions, or her physicality, it's all past that now. But this way it allowed her whole body to integrate it, so now her mind is into the same belief, or if you want to call it beliefs, the old beliefs are no longer there.
Understanding, new understanding.
Yeah. Bringing it all into focus now. Oh, that's why I've been doing this. I get it. Yeah, that aha, finally, the breakthrough.
Yeah, I get that. And also I feel like it sort of helps lift potentially lifts, it synthesizes everything else you're doing, because they mentally feel more like they're getting something, rather than you just doing something and they're either going to feel it or not, but then they have some ability to mentally hear, listen, internalize it. And that sort of gives them more confidence in the whole process, it seems, potentially too.
Yes, it does. Yeah. And they can really then, and at that point, seriously, this lady is like, oh, I am so appreciative of you, Marlene. I mean, it just, and it's not like I need accolades. I don't. That's not why I'm doing this. But the point of it is that now she's sold on that this stuff really works, right? So it could be the turning point for whether that will be a repeat client, or will tell other people, hey, you really gotta check her out. This is what happened to me. So they're vocal salespeople for you out on the street.
Yeah.
And I find that there's somebody I know that just does that. They just do that, and that's all their whole healing protocol is just going into their past lives. So I think she's missing stuff, obviously, that, you could help them. I mean, like if there was stress, distressed, and overwhelmed or whatever because of that past life, maybe that awareness and understanding now releases those emotions too. And I'm sure it does. I'm getting yes. So you probably don't have to do everything, but does it also let them out of their contracts or agreements, and does it get them out of their soul contracts when they realize? I don't know if that's gonna do everything, right? So
unless that's what came up, but I would assume not, if it didn't get shown that way, right? So
right. So it's a wonderful thing that she does, and very enlightening. But I guess since it does have such a big impact, and I guess that's why I had it in red up there to begin with, it does have such a big impact that it can be a healing protocol all on itself.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
That's all you knew how to do, you would have business coming out of your ears. Yeah, you wouldn't need much else. And she swears that by it, that's, and she gets a great result, and and you do feel better, and a lot of things lift, and it's true. So just going with that, I just don't discount timelines, because it's so important.
Yeah.
I'm doing them for everybody now on their sessions. We're going into their past. I mean, even with my half an hour sessions, I grab a piece of selenite, and then you can have your feet on the hematite on the ground just to ground you or whatever, and then let's go. What were you doing 3 lifetimes ago? And just adding that into the practice now, it just keeps me on my toes now. It's just normal. That stuff just comes.
So what is the selenite purpose?
It brings out your intuition more. You can look into it more, but I can't remember now what it was, but that's why it's here though. It's just right in front of me. It's my tool. It's my go-to tool right now. But yeah, I think it amplifies intuition. Yeah, she's got a.
I'm gonna get you one for your birthday. Yeah.
I love this stuff.
Yeah, I've got
Well,
I ended up finding these
I
amazing.
feel like it does help
Whoa.
when
Yeah.
you connect.
Oh my God, they're huge.
I know. Look at that.
Whoa.
Sorry, I just had to share.
No, I am so into rocks.
I know, me
so
too.
into crystals. I mean, I call them rocks because that's what when I grew up as a little kid, I would always collect rocks. That was my thing. I had rocks from everywhere I went. I'd get rocks, So I'm sure.
I went to the North Shore of Lake Superior after my sister passed away because she always wanted me to go there with her because she lived in Minneapolis. I think I was telling you.
Agates.
Yeah, and I just went there by myself, and I walked on. There's a little beachy area up above the place that was like the Native American old like hotel. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you been there?
Yes,
You know,
yes.
yeah, it's up at the far end of Grand Marais, I guess,
Okay.
or north of there. But anyway, I just went there. I was just by myself, and I brought home a suitcase full of rocks. And they're just all around the house now, but they had the most amazing rocks there. Really, beautiful pink and I'll show some next time. But anyway, Forgive me. I'm a rock person too.
I know. Maybe it's a Sagittarius thing, Tracy, because
it could be. It could be.
Well, then you may have rock envy because we live in a gravel pit or next to it. That's my husband's business. So he's got all kinds of beautiful rocks.
Oh, wow. You're married to Fred Flintstone. Yay!
Yeah. People come choose out their landscape rock, the perfect one.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
I love
But
that.
you do feel that it does assist you in kind of getting into the past lives and whatnot a little bit quicker.
Yes. Yes. Uh-huh.
I feel like it helps with the clearing work too.
Holding them and they can, it will help with your clearings. A lot of times I'll put them in my lap or something.
I need to write these down. So you said selenite?
Selenite, that amplifies intuition for sure. Yeah.
And was there another one?
Insight. No, I mean you can research online and see what else comes up, but that's the one that I've been told to use that one.
Okay. But Marlene said that she put her feet on hematite. So that's the one that looks like shiny, like mercury almost, right? So.
Hemite?
Yeah.
Hematite.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I used to have one. Yeah.
Yeah. These are just small ones, but big enough for my feet to go,
Yeah. Yeah. I used to have some clothes. Yeah.
Yeah. Got a thing of them. And then, just holding on to like crystal amplifies too, so it will speed up your healings and help you. These things will help you. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So going through then, okay, so hormonal problems and questions. I guess I can probably go back to the slide now because that was the clearing. So the questions around hormones and if you're way out of whack or whatever, what issues are ready to finally be resolved? What am I holding on to that's no longer serving my highest and greatest good? What is the conflict in my mind that needs resolution? What question, if I asked it, would unlock the subconscious belief that keeps me from having internal balance? What part of me have I not accepted? What am I not willing to see, know, perceive, or receive? What will it take for me to experience more internal stability? So it does sound like off balance, out of balance in your mind, in your life, and other areas, right? So translates into out of balance hormones then eventually. So the affirmation, I accept myself at the deepest level. I am willing to feel, listen, and honor my inner intuition. I call my mind to order and allow my body to follow. Wow. Yeah, so this feels like in your mind, right? What are you holding on to? So these things are perception. Yeah, you haven't accepted something about you. Well, that's a perception too. You've perceived yourself as less than. What am I not willing to see? No, it's perception, right? So a lot of you, the hormone issues, being out of whack, being out of balance, is because your mind is out of balance, or you're something with your perceiving it is not in tune, right? So a lot of that is hormones. It's got to be around that. So what I've got here, the empty and full, is during my live stream, I've went from whatever it is currently to optimized, whatever that level is for the person. So I work with melatonin. So then what you're doing then is you're just simply adding the gold healing into the body and intending that you're affecting melatonin production. Now, of course, it's from the pineal gland, so you could see that if you want to, but it's not totally necessary. But you're intending that that melatonin is optimized, whatever that level happens to be. So you can just you can do that with each of these, and then same with serotonin. Again, you're just getting that to optimal or full, whatever full is, but that's why I just kind of added up. Oh, I do have thyroxine. Well, is that the one? That's, wait, which is the one? No, thymosin and thymo. Yeah, that's thyroxine. Okay, that's thyroid. Okay, so I wondered, okay, so we've got the thyroxine anyway, so that would be a good one for Madison to do, and T3 and T4. Bumping those to where they need to go. Epinephrine from the adrenals, norepinephrine also from the adrenals, dopamine, which I think this is a neurotransmitter. That's not a hormone. So neuro means from the nervous system. But yeah, dopamine is the, it's deciphering what's real, but also it's more like, you get a dopamine rush. Like if you're to-do chart, you're just crossing stuff off, right? You get a dopamine rush because you got all these things crossed off now or something. Yeah, so this is more like lactation, if anyone needs that. Maybe you do. Yeah, so you can make sure that yours is up there, right? Anti-mullerian hormone. Adiponectin, metabolic processes such as glucose, so wherever that needs to be, and adrenocorticotropic hormone. So corticosteroids synthesizes. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe that's adrenals too, huh? Antigen, angiotensinogen, narrowing of blood vessels. I'm pretty good at this, huh? Oh my God. Vasoconstriction. Yeah. So for blood vessels, this could be for somebody for, cardio, if they're having issues with circulatory or cardio. This would be for kidneys, antidiuretic. So then just getting that up to par, and just going through these basically and getting them all up to 100% reading. Calcium, this is blood calcium. So if you've got the parathyroid you're working with for bone density and so forth, then also make sure that when you're doing the chemistry afterwards, this is what you're looking at to do as well. And digestive enzymes for the pancreas. So when you're in the pancreas, you're going to want to make sure you're looking at that. Corticotropin releasing hormone, that's stress, cortisol, adrenals. Yeah. Erythropoietin. Okay, we had that poietin. We had thymopoietin. Oh, poietin. Okay, this is poietin. Okay. Erythrocytes, the blood cells responsible for delivering oxygen. Follicle stimulating hormone for the sex organs, and that could be for regularity of cycles for women. Gastrin secretes the gastric acid. Ghrelin, and this is a hunger stimulant. So that's makes you hungry. The ghrelin, the leptin makes you says that you're full. Glucagon, that could be for pancreas, for the blood sugar level, blood glucose levels. Growth hormone, releasing hormone, releases growth hormone, interestingly enough, and that's with the pituitary gland. And human growth hormone, I believe that's also pituitary, reproduction of cells. That's to keeps the immune system from attacking a forming, I don't know. I don't know if that's the truth or not. I don't know. Anyways, the embryo during pregnancy. Insulin for several anabolic affects primarily glucose intake. So obviously with the pancreas, whatever insulin levels, and having insulin sensitivity instead of insulin resistance is what we are looking for. Insulin like growth factor, okay, also part of the pancreas then. Leptin, that should have been with the other, slows down the appetite. Okay, luteinizing hormone aids in ovulation and testosterone production in men. So both, I guess. Pigment in your hair and skin. So this is the one, for the for male pattern graying, or even in female. And why is it that the grayness seems to come out in certain areas more than others? So that can be DNA as well, right? So there's other things, like if you're going to be doing a hair program for hair, you could, obviously put this in to the clearings, make sure that you work on this as part of the chemistry. And then obviously too, hair loss, you've got adrenals, thyroid, thymus, almost all of them, right? Ovaries. Yeah, so here's the chemistry behind some of it. Orexin increases the appetite and increases your alertness and energy levels too. Oxytocin for bonding. Parathyroid hormone, that's the one in the parathyroid for bone and calcium. Prolactin for sexual satisfaction and production of breast milk. There's another one for you, Carrie. Secretin inhibits gastric acid production. Aldosterone, kidneys, increases the volume of blood within the body. Absorbs sodium. Oh, okay. So that's important. So if you're working with someone on kidneys, testosterone, usually the male hormone, but we both require it. Okay, so the estrogens essentially, right? So, and so we don't know exactly what estrogen should be. The medical seems to think that we need more. So that's why they supplement it with the hormone replacement. But then I've also heard that the body says, enough, right? I've gone through the baby producing stages. I don't need any more of this stuff. This stuff can, cause heart attack or whatever, right? So, so why are they giving women more estrogen after menopause? It doesn't make much sense. So I don't say I want to increase it. Again, whatever the optimal level is for optimal health for me right now, again, estradiol, same estrogens. Progesterone, this protects against cancer and so forth. And this is still very valid for women at any age. And so boosting it really, or getting it to where it should be. Lipotropin, the pigment, aids in melanin for your skin color. And brain natriuretic peptide, blood pressure, histamine. It aids in the secreting of gastric acid, besides giving you allergies. So I don't know. But endothelin, muscle contractions in the stomach. Okay, pain regulator. So this could be, you know, something to help with pain. Cortisol for releasing adrenaline when you're under stress. And so really, what do you really want for cortisol? Well, it may just be that you want it reduced or whatever, but you know, whatever again is the optimal for your body is what you're going for. And then of course, you know, hydrating and improvements from balanced chemistry, less appetite and hunger, reduced sugar cravings, weight loss. So that could be all pancreas too. Better regulation of blood pressure, balanced emotions, mood and behavior, increased energy, better memory, less aches and pains, decreased belly fat, improved concentration, and lower cholesterol, and whatever else chemistry and hormones do in the body. So, so that I believe is all I had. Okay, so then, oh yeah, at the end here, check the glands and organs. Are they able to produce 100% chemistry? So if you go through all of these things and you know, you've gotten them up to where you wanted them, they all said 100%. But at the, you know, when you check the organs or glands, are they able to produce 100% chemistry? That's where you need to then go ahead with the regeneration and do all the clearings for the adrenals, for example. So just going in here and just saying, okay, I got my cortisol to optimal, I'm good, you know, and or the, you know, adrenaline and the other things that the adrenals do. Well, if you just did that without doing the adrenals, that may not stay. You know what I mean? It may not just hold at 100%. You could be doing this many different times, you know, until you could actually get the regeneration done on that body part. So, I mean, if it's just minor stuff, it's off, great. Just do that, you know, or maybe you've done the adrenals before, but you just kind of need an extra tune up on the hormones. Well, great, just do that, you know, but generally you're going to want to see, hey, is the adrenal, or are my adrenals able to produce 100% chemistry? Yes or no? Yeah. And so then you might want to build that into the clearing statement then for the adrenals to be able to produce 100% chemistry as required, or optimal amounts of that. And why do I have, oh, okay, so I have some extra stuff on the end of this slide that I guess I don't have on the slides. So let me share the document again. And on here, I have meridians and chemistry. So tune up the meridians related to body chemistry, whatever they happen to be. And I guess you can just send it into the, you know, intending that you're going into the meridians, which ones it, you know, doesn't really state, but clearing the meridians of harmful programs, faulty programs in DNA and resets and others in the family bubble. So looking at DNA around chemistry programs, and then clearing blocks, able to communicate with all body parts. And then cycles and timelines around chemistry. And then your aura and chemistry. So depletion, here's a big one, depletion. So clear the depletion mode and the depletion faulty DNA programs, especially as it relates to healthy body chemistry. This program circumvents natural order, supply, and demand. Yeah, so depletion is a program, faulty program. So you can clear depletion mode and the depletion faulty DNA program. So, if you've got depletion going on, you probably do have compromised hormones, unbalanced hormones. So therefore depletion, that can be around ability to receive love, and know that you are cherished and loved. So you can clear around those things, and then clear timelines, and see what's in timelines around depletion too. So I guess I did not have a slide for those, but that is on this document. So I'll send you the documents here too. I think I have a meeting right around now at 3. I think I know it was on my calendar, so I'm not sure, but so I may not be able to get these over to you ASAP, but I will get them over to you tonight.
Is it too much to ask you, like Sylvia and I, at the end of our last meeting with you from our first, we were doing the clearing on this. So I wonder if you feel like we got that clearing cleared. We tried to do it as a group. We've met a couple times, right? So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, let's check here.
I know you got to go, so.
And he hasn't called me yet, so I'm so far so good.
Okay.
And I just checked my texts, and I don't see him on here either, so I don't know how we were supposed to connect. But I have a new merchant account to hook up to my Infusionsoft software, and by December 1, that won't work anymore. So it's like, I have to get this in here. It's I got all the emails saying you were approved, you're blah 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 blah. Here's how to do it. Well, he goes, have you done it yet? No. But that's because I haven't had a day off in 12 days. Okay.
No.
No, I haven't. But it was my own choice because I had brought in someone over the weekend, and we worked really hard for a few days. But yeah, so I got to get that hooked up to my Infusionsoft. So I don't know, maybe he forgot about me. But checking you guys, let's see, Tracy, how much of this has gotten to 100%? Getting about 90% for you,
Okay.
Tracy. Sylvia? Well, you must have done it together because I'm getting a 90% for you too.
We did it together. I mean, we met and with Christine and Arnold as well. And we tried to complete the clearing, like the main clearing. We went through all this, but yeah.
Oh, you did. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Because you guys did it in your first one. That's right.
Yeah, just at the very end, the last meeting was on that, right? So.
Okay, yeah, because that's right. We added it in the monthly meetings. Yep. Okay, got it. Whereas this is part of the level 2. As well. Okay, so yeah, there maybe going through, I don't know, maybe did you do depletion? Was that part of it? Do you know if that was something you worked in? Because that
I don't remember. We might have done it sort of quickly at the end. That sort of rings a bell, but I don't know that we might have just looked at aura and human chemistry and pumped that. Like, I don't think we did anything about clearing anything.
Did you do this big clearing?
Yeah, that's the big clearing that we did.
Okay, that's what I was checking you on. Yeah,
Yeah.
where you got to on that. So there's something in here not complete yet.
We'll have to go to maybe it's timeline. So I don't know.
That's what I just got too.
Yeah.
Go check those out and see if there's something missing. Yeah, that could do it for you. Okay, well, I'm going to save the changes. And send them to you. Okay, any other questions? Stop that. Looks like, oh, okay, yeah. There we go. Anything else that we didn't cover today? Or something else around the endocrine system? And if you are working on them tonight, you come up with some questions, just bring them with you tomorrow. We'll go over questions first tomorrow. And then stuff around wealth and wealth clearings and stuff around business. That's what we're going to work in tomorrow, okay? So any questions around that, jot them down and bring them tomorrow then too. All right. So with that, let's go enjoy or what is it? Friday. I don't even know what day it is. It's
It feels
Friday.
like a Saturday, yeah.
I'm sure it does. It really does for some reason. All right. So I've got the recording.